President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Wednesday made his first budget presentation before a joint session of the National Assembly. Presenting the 2024 appropriation bill to Parliament, President Tinubu unveiled a budget estimate of 27.50 trillion naira. He said the estimate is predicted on a crude oil benchmark price of $77.96 per barrel, daily oil production of 1.78 million barrels per day, an exchange rate of 750 naira to the US dollar for the 2024 fiscal year. According to the president, the 27.5 Naira trillion budget proposed expenditure reflects the serious challenges faced by Nigeria and contain key reforms necessary to address them. Given a breakdown of the 2024 budget, the president said 9.9 Naira trillion is for non-debt recurrent expenditure, 8.25 trillion for debt service. Capital expenditure stand at 8.7 trillion, while the budget deficit is projected at 9.18 trillion. The president said the 2024 budget deficit will be financed mainly by new borrowings.
We have adopted a conservative oil price benchmark of $77.96 US per barrel and daily oil production estimate of 1.78 million barrels per day. We have also adopted a Naira to US dollar exchange rate of 750 per US dollar for 2024. Accordingly, an aggregate expenditure of 27.5 trillion naira is proposed for the federal government in 2024. Of which the non-debt recurrent expenditure is 9.92 trillion naira, while debt service is projected downward to be 8.25 trillion naira, and capital expenditure is 8.7 trillion naira. Nigeria remains committed to meeting its debt obligations. Projected debt service is 45% of the expected total revenue. The budget deficit is projected at 9.18 trillion naira in 2024, or 3.88% of GDP. This is lower than the 13.7 trillion naira deficit recorded in year 2023, which represents 6.11% of GDP. The deficit will be financed by new borrowings totaling 7.83 trillion naira. Strategically, 2298 billion naira from privatization proceeds and 1.05 trillion naira drawdown on multilateral and bilateral loans secure for specific projects.
Tinubu said the 2024 budget of Renewed Hope was designed to address critical issues and to grow the country's economy and end its security woes during the next fiscal year.
The 2024 appropriation has been themed Budget of Renewed Hope. The proposed budget seeks to achieve job-rich economic growth, macroeconomic stability, a better investment environment, enhanced human capital development, as well as poverty reduction and greater access to social security. Defense and internal security are recorded top priority. The internal security architecture will be overhauled to enhance law enforcement capabilities and safeguard lives, property, and investment across the country. Human capital is the most critical resource of national development. Accordingly, the budget prioritizes human development with particular attention to children, the foundation of our nation. To improve the effectiveness of our budget performance, government will focus on ensuring value for money, greater transparency, and accountability. In this regard, we will work more closely with development partners and the private sector to address long-standing issues in education. A more sustainable model of funding tertiary education will be implemented, including the student loan scheme planned to become operational by January 2024.
The Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, in his opening speech, commended President Tinubu administration's development plan for the country, saying that Nigeria never had such audacious plan since the days of the nation's founding father.
We need to acknowledge the specific achievements of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration so far. Those who doubted him initially forgot his track record as the governor of Lagos State from 1999 to the year 2007. And Lagos, of course, is Nigeria's melting pot. Nigerians strongly believe that with the debt profile of the day today, that we are the man for the job to fix our economy. Already we have seen significant economic reforms, starting with the courageous removal of the petroleum subsidy, which has become an albatross to our nation. They have taken the right steps to unify the multiple foreign exchange markets.
In view of this and the related challenge of high level of public debt, the National Assembly will ensure that the 2024 budget includes concrete strategies for sustainable debt management, including measures to increase revenue and control expenditure. Specifically, the focus should be on raising more revenue through tax reform, fiscal reform, subsidy reform, foreign exchange convergence, and centralized revenue collection. In our recent engagement with MDAs on the MTEF, we emphasized the need for revenue-generating agencies to double their targets to meet the 18 trillion revenue projected in the budget. Mr. President, the effectiveness and legitimacy of fiscal policies depend to a very large extent on public support. As the People's House and in line with our legislative agenda, the House of Representatives will convene the first national citizens budget town hall to harness public input and opinion on this budget. We are convinced that this will increase transparency and accountability, improve policy making, and increase trust in government. Public participation in the budgetary process has been shown to improve resource allocation and service delivery, as well as a more stable and robust economy.
The budget is expected to be approved and take effect in January 2024, which is Nigeria's highest ever prioritizing physical sustainability, economic growth, and security.